You're listening to the Wells Report, which will return in 1 minute. The Wells Report returns in 30 seconds. North to south, coast to coast, around the world. This is the Wells Report. What do we do on this broadcast? We report the news, honestly and fairly. We analyze the news for fact and bias. We point out both. We de-propagandize the mainstream media. We do make commentary. Commentary is not news. We differentiate between news and commentary on this broadcast. You don't need to be confused any more than you are. I do tell you what I think, but I invite you to tell me what you think. Let's debate. Let's compare what we know. Let's find more truth, shall we? That's the bargain. This is the Wells Report for the 26th day of August, year of our Lord 2024. August 26th, 2021 was a completely different day. It was on that date, in the middle of a chaotic withdrawal of American troops out of Afghanistan, that there was a suicide bombing attack and a firefight that ended up killing 13 American service members and approximately 170 Afghan civilians. This according to the U.S. Department of Defense. Many people looked at that withdrawal, such as it was, and were horrified. I was one of them. I couldn't believe that we had done this way. The military first, American civilians left there to fend for themselves against the Taliban, which rapidly took over the country. It was so bad that there were amazing special operators, retired guys, getting back in the saddle and figuring out ways to evacuate Americans. Some Americans are still there. But the American military left. The American image in tatters. Not only did we leave Americans, but we left allies there, caught flat-footed by the U.S. withdrawal. Strong words then. Strong words now. And Donald Trump participated in something today that I thought was very poignant and I thought was very important. At the request of some of the families, he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier today in honor of the 13 people killed in the U.S.
Former President Donald Trump is on the campaign trail this week, looking to regain momentum following the DNC. His first stop of the day was at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. He participated in a wreath-laying ceremony to mark 3 years since the bombing at the Abbey Gate at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan, in which 13 U.S. service members were killed. This happened during the nation's troop withdrawal in 2021.
Yeah. And that's how Donald Trump started his day. For his part, President Joe Biden is on another vacation, this time in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Kamala Harris has no public events on her schedule today, and therefore she hasn't done anything. The White House put out a note regarding all of this, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a couple of moments. But to bring home a little bit about just exactly how the United States has handled this, take a look at this dad trying to explain why it's impossible to find out exactly what happened to his son. How is it that that this guy has the ability to say stuff like this. Take a look.
He's never mentioned their names to this day publicly. We have Kamala Harris now, who claims she was in the room all the way to the end, and she owns this as much as he does. You know, she's following in the policies that Joe Biden has ushered in during his presidency, and obviously neither one of them know what the heck they're doing, and that terrifies me because we know we can't bring our kids back, but what we want to see is the military that is out in the field right now. Those families are never going to be put through what we've been put through. It's been absolutely shameful. It's incredibly disgusting, the treatment that our families have been given, because we've been given no accountability whatsoever. You know, not a single person has been fired. In fact, they've been doing forward promotions for people that probably deserve to not have a job anymore. We've been down to CENTCOM. The cover-ups have been nonstop since the beginning. We went to CENTCOM to be briefed on that most recent report, and they continued to tout that there was no post-blast gunfire. We knew that was a lie. And then shortly after that, wouldn't you know it, video surfaces and it shows all the gunfire that was going on after the fact. We don't understand why we keep getting lied to.
Can't understand why they keep getting lied to. That's awful. It's just plain, completely, and totally awful. Here's a retrospective that Fox News did earlier today on Fox and Friends. It gives you kind of a perspective on a lot of what we've been talking about today and puts it all in perspective.
Today marks 3 years since the terrorist attack that killed 13 U.S. service members at the Abbey Gate during the Biden-Harris administration's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan.
11 Marines, one sailor, and a soldier died when an ISIS-K suicide bomber carried out the attack outside the airport in Kabul.
Griff Jenkins has more on what happened that day as families are still demanding accountability. And Griff, we just talked to a father who said he has not gotten any.
Yeah, good morning, Steve, Ainsley, and Brian. Look, that attack marking the deadliest day for U.S. troops there in roughly a decade. Remember, the blast happened while troops were screening thousands of Afghans desperately trying to make it onto one of the last flights leaving the country. Take a look at our coverage exactly 3 years ago today when that attack first happened.
Thank you there. Fox News Alert. Back to the big news in Kabul. We are hearing about an explosion that has just taken place at the airport in Kabul. This was the warning we were getting late last night and overnight. The worst possibility appears to have happened here, Dana.
Reports on the ground do indicate an explosion, a large explosion outside of the Abbey Gate.
I'm told by a White House official that the president has been briefed.
I got a baby girl that she was 5 years old. She died right in my hand. I think some of the Americans, they got hurt too. And so people are running around.
There was a suicide bomber on foot, and then there was a firefight that broke out.
I don't know what the words to describe what's going on down there. All access points to the airport have been blocked by Taliban.
I'm also told that there is no safe gate at the airport.
We can confirm here at Fox News the death toll has risen yet again. It is 13 U.S. service members, 12 Marines, one Navy medic who died as a result of these two suicide bombings in Kabul today.
Since that attack, the Taliban has completely taken over in Afghanistan. Now, earlier, the White House responded to 3 years since 13 were killed, saying, quote, the soldiers embodied the very best of who we are as a nation. We owe them and their families a sacred debt we will never be able to fully repay.
Yeah. And that one's hard to take. And the reason it's hard to take is because, well, there was no reason for that. There was no reason to use that airport. Bagram Air Base was right down the road. It was down the road a while. But it would have been much, much more difficult for a suicide bomber to wade into a vast sea of people. Yes, we lost 13 American service members. But 170 Afghans died in a blink. Bodies torn and littered all over the streets. And none of it had to happen. We left in the middle of an airport in the middle of town when what we could have done is gone to Bagram, and we didn't. And we're trying to figure out just exactly why it is that way. Why is that? Vice President Kamala Harris said she stood behind Joe Biden's decision to leave Afghanistan as the Democrat nominee came under attack from Donald Trump. This from USA Today on the third anniversary of the botched U.S. withdrawal. In a statement today, Harris referred to our administration and emphasized her support despite the chaotic pullout, which included the deaths of 13 American service members in a suicide bombing at the Kabul airport on August 26, 2021. Quote, "As I have said, President Biden made the courageous and right decision to end America's longest war. Over the past 3 years, our administration has demonstrated we can still eliminate terrorists, including leaders of al-Qaeda and ISIS, without troops deployed into combat zones. I will never hesitate to take whatever action necessary to counter terrorist threats and protect the American people and the homeland." Trump has hit Harris repeatedly over Afghanistan since she became her party's nominee. 3 years ago, Kamala and Biden's incompetence left 13 dead warriors, hundreds of civilians killed and grievously wounded, and $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment on the planet abandoned to the Taliban. Trump said Monday on Truth Social, that was today. The Taliban took possession of an estimated $7 billion in military hardware provided to the Afghan National Army. Well, that's not exactly the case. I don't know why USA Today put that in there. It was $87 billion worth of military equipment. I don't know what they're doing. I don't have any idea what USA Today is doing. But what I do understand is that there are people that questioned the accountability of all of this and the lack thereof. Why wasn't there any accountability? I want to know that too. And all I can say is that accountability is missing. And I'm not the only one that notices it. This is a former journalist talking a little bit about what should be and what should not be talked about on this day.
I was on the House Foreign Affairs Committee's investigation into the Biden-Harris administration's withdrawal and evacuation, its disastrous withdrawal and evacuation. And unfortunately, that investigation, by choice often, chose not to bring in witnesses that it should have brought in, chose not to ask questions it should have been asking, and with witnesses that it did bring in, such as Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley, Commander of CENTCOM, General McKenzie, the committee made a specific choice to help those generals avoid their share of the accountability as well. There's a lot of blame to go around, but the problem is that this Republican-led investigation chose to let certain people skate on accountability, and that troubles me. We need answers and accountability for the Gold Star families. We need those answers and accountability for all of the U.S. service members who served in Afghanistan, for those who died in Afghanistan. And we need those answers and accountability if we want to make sure that something horrific like this doesn't happen in the future. And I worry that something like this is more likely to happen in the future if there's not accountability.
And he's got a very good point. And President Trump, for his part, is making his ideas plain. GOP presidential nominee, this from Fox News, former President Donald Trump today promised if he were to retake the Oval Office, that he would demand on day one the resignation of every single official responsible for the Afghanistan calamity. The voters are going to fire Kamala and Joe on November 5th, we hope. And when I take office, I will ask for the resignation of every single official. We'll get the resignations of every single senior official who touched the Afghanistan calamity to be on my desk at noon on Inauguration Day. Is that accountability? It's accountability that is long overdue. And yeah, Republicans played a part in it, as that journalist just said. The Republicans led the investigation, but left wiggle room to make sure that we didn't collapse the careers of people that probably shouldn't have been in those careers to begin with. This is the Wells Report. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
This is the Wells Report. John David Wells at your service, discussing the 3-year anniversary of the Abbey Gate disaster. As America cut and run from Afghanistan, I was trying to think of a better way of saying it. But there really isn't a better way of saying it, is there? There are people that are playing politics with it in the news media, as you might expect, given the fact that our news media is basically a propaganda wing of whichever party you happen to follow. This is Fox News. Many conservatives mark the 3rd anniversary of the deadly Abbey Gate bombing that killed 13 Americans during the Biden administration's Afghanistan withdrawal by unearthing poorly aged comments by Vice President Kamala Harris. Roughly 4 months before the tragic terror attack, Harris talked about her role during a CNN interview in which she confirmed she was the last person in the room before Biden made the deadly decision to pull troops out of Afghanistan. CNN anchor Dana Bash simply asked Afghanistan, were you the last person in the room? Harris responded, yes. And you feel comfortable? Bash followed up, to which Harris responded, I do. Kamala Harris was proud to be the last person in the room for the decision that left 13 U.S. service members dead, many more injured in Kabul 3 years ago today. This, according to Pennsylvania GOP Senate candidate David McCormick. Trump campaign senior advisor Jason Miller said Harris bragged about her role on camera before posting the unflattering video. RNC Research, an account run by the Republican National Committee, also posted the footage. It's bad. And the Speaker of the House of Representatives put together a retrospective on those days and then used it to talk about what he plans to do about it. Here it is.
Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do.
Dozens were killed when multiple bombs went off near Kabul's Hamid Karzai airport Thursday.
We know that at least 13 U.S. service members were killed in the blast.
He claimed that on his watch, we have not lost any American troops. The lives of no American troops have been lost as long as he's been president. Obviously, that is not true. Apparently, he's already forgotten about the 13 American heroes who were lost with his disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. These are their names, Mr. President. These are their names. Marine Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover. Marine Sergeant Johanny Rosario Pichardo. Marine Sergeant Nicole G. Marine Corporal Hunter Lopez. Marine Corporal Dagan Page. Marine Corporal Humberto Sanchez. Marine Lance Corporal David Espinoza. Marine Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. Marine Lance Corporal Riley McCollum. Marine Lance Corporal Dylan Marola. Marine Lance Corporal Kareem Nakui. Navy Petty Officer 3rd Class Maxton Soviak. Army Staff Sergeant Ryan Knaus. We will honor their memory.
And he will honor their memory. From what I understand, here is what's going on. He is going to enact the Congressional Gold Medal for the families of all those lost at Abbey Gate. That does not recognize the people in the United States military who were wounded on that day, gravely injured, life-altering injuries that they will live with for the rest of their lives. All because of a bug out 3 years ago today. An unnecessary, rushed, chaotic, messy, deadly, maiming bug out of the U.S. military, leaving American citizens behind. It was a calamity. It was a cataclysmic error in judgment. That's the way I see it. Do you see something different? 817-379-2172. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
News, analysis, commentary, and debate. This is the Wells Report. I am John David Wells. Welcome to Monday evening. Yeah, okay, so the show's been moving around a little bit. Yeah, I know, time-wise. And, yeah. And I have to say that it's because of my day job. I got to tell you, it's something, I do this broadcast. It's a mission. It started on 9/11/2001. And I do it every day, Monday through Friday. Most of the time, it's from 11 until 1 p.m., which it will be on tomorrow between 11 and 1 p.m. I just want to let you know that. I'll put out an alert on X and Facebook a little bit later on today. Looking at our chat room, let's see. Gary Abshire says, what happened at Abbey-Gate was criminal incompetence. Alicia says, accountability today. It was no mistake. It wasn't an error. It's BS over and over and over again. It wasn't a drone to kill innocent people. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was a suicide bomber. And there were Marine Corps snipers that had the guy in their sights. And they say they were waiting for orders to take him down before the explosion. What happened after that was they were regaled as being liars. The government just said, no, that wasn't the case. I don't know what happened to those guys. I hope they're okay. But that's just coming from the chat room, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time there. There are other things coming up. There are two stories that have to do with what happened during the Trump administration. And one of them had to do with January 6th. And when you go back to the beginning of that particular, when all of that was happening, you go back to decisions made by Donald Trump and the way those decisions landed. This was a report on CNN today that I think you want to see. Here we go.
Say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically.
He encouraged those folks to go up to the Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences.
Well, it's not just that. There was something else that was going on, and it's in today's news. That, by the way, was from the debate. Donald Trump's, it's not so much Donald Trump, but it has to do with some peripheral things involving Donald Trump. It has to do with a fundraiser for families who were charged in the January 6, 2021 Capitol riots after the former president was listed as an invited speaker for the event at his New Jersey golf club, Bedminster. More than 1,400 defendants have been charged in the attack on the Capitol. Trump has been federally indicted on election interference charges that allege he played a part in inciting the violent mob. The J6 Awards Gala by nonprofit Stand in the Gap is scheduled for September 5th at the Trump National Golf Club, Bedminster. According to the event listing online, the event will raise money and pay tribute to all J6 defendants who have shown incredible courage and sacrifice. Trump is listed as an invited speaker, along with confirmed speakers Rudy Giuliani and Anthony Raimondi. The Trump campaign told USA Today, where we got this article, that he will not be attending. While Democrats hammered Trump for the events of that day, Trump has suggested those convicted in the riots should be released. He's also played recordings from the J6 prison choir at his rallies. The Stand in the Gap fundraiser will also honor the choir's song Justice for All. Several people online reacted to the events in disbelief, including former Mike Pence advisor Olivia Troye. Quote, celebrating the people who endangered the life of Trump's own vice president and glorifying violence is a dangerous assault on our democracy and a disgraceful rewriting of history, said Troye, who endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. She wrote on X that we must all stand together against him. Senator Lindsey Graham avoided weighing in on whether Trump should attend the event, but condemned the rioters. I have no sympathy for those who broke into the Capitol, destroying the place and hurt police officers, Graham told CNN's State of the Union on Sunday. When pressed on whether Trump should allow the event to happen, Graham responded, I'll leave it up to him as to what causes to support. Most Americans believe the January 6th rioters who violently attacked police officers and tried to overthrow the election belong in jail, Harris Wall spokesman Serafina Chitika told USA Today, calling the event, quote, a slap in the face to every police officer who defended our Capitol in its darkest hour, and every American who believes in the rule of law. On January 6th, the group of demonstrators breached the U.S. Capitol while Congress was in the process of affirming the 2020 election results in which President Joe Biden beat Donald Trump. Approximately 140 police officers were assaulted at the Capitol that day, according to the Department of Justice. 5 people in the riot died of varying causes, At least 4 police officers who responded to the Capitol riots died by suicide in the months after the incident. Ashley Babbitt was also killed on that day by a federal agent who was lionized as a hero. Those things being said, there are some things that I want to say. And I want to ask a question. So, what do you think about this? How does this hit you? How do you see this? It's from USA Today, which is a left-centered newspaper. And so it is harsh on President Trump. But what do you think? What do you think about the January 6th rioters? Is this is the question I want to ask you. Is this fundraiser worse or not as bad as Kamala Harris raising money for people who were jailed during the BLM riots in the summer of 2020? Now, I'm not trying to compare what could be argued by any reasonable human being as really dumb moves. I'm not saying that the fundraiser is dumb. I was shocked that Kamala Harris tried to raise money to bail out the BLM rioters. But what we have here is we have these two sides of government, two sides of this election, doing things that are arguably head-scratching moves. I don't know why this is happening at Bedminster. But I find it to be, on one hand, I'm sympathetic to it because I think a lot of those people behind bars are political prisoners, especially when you correlate what happened in the summer of 2020 with the BLM rioters and Kamala Harris's participation in raising money to get those people out of jail. Do you see any equivalence there? Do you see any redeeming value in any of that? 817-379-2172. 817-379-2172. Gary says, Pelosi was caught on film saying that January 6th was her fault. What happened to that? Well, it got swept under the rug. That's what happened to that. That's what happened to that. I reported that on this show. And yeah, she was right. A rare moment of candid clarity on the part of Nancy Pelosi. She should have called out the National Guard. She should have been able to figure that all out. There are many, many questions having to do with January 6th that have not been answered. The only thing that we saw when it came to the government, the Congress and so on, trying to come up with some sort of investigation was a one-sided lynch mob that cherry-picked various data, various things from the January 6th event and put it all together in an attempt to impeach Donald Trump. That was the second time they tried to impeach him, and it went nowhere. Again. But is it the right thing to do to raise money for the January 6th rioters who were indeed thrown in jail? Is that the right thing to do? Likewise, was it the right thing to do for Kamala Harris to raise money to bail these people out? This is a story that has come back to visit us again. What are your thoughts? 817-379-2172. 817-379-2172. Is this a good idea, bad idea? Was it a good idea or a bad idea for Kamala Harris to raise money to bail out BLM rioters, arsonists, murderers? I just need to know. What are your thoughts? I'll look forward to reading them on the chat room or hearing them on the telephone, 817-379-2172. And there's another story haunting the American people. Special Counsel Jack Smith is arguing to revive his office's classified document case against Donald Trump with a vigorous defense of its authority in the first formal filing since Judge Eileen Cannon dismissed the criminal case last month. In a brief filed with the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta today, Smith argues that Cannon's decision to end the Trump case because the prosecutor's office lacked constitutional authority was novel and lacked merit. Cannon had ruled the Justice Department did not have the ability to appoint or fund special counsels like Smith. Smith's team also cast the decision from Cannon as not just affecting other special counsel prosecutions, of which there are several ongoing in other courts, against Trump and Hunter Biden, among others, but also as potentially affecting the power of leaders across the federal government. Quote, if the Attorney General lacks power to appoint inferior officers, that conclusion would invalidate the appointment of every member of the department who exercises significant authority and occupies a continuing office, other than the few that are specifically identified by statute. So said Smith's office, writing in the 81-page filing. I got to interrupt this thing here. I mean, the statute is plain on special counsels. Jack Smith does not fit that statute. Judge Eileen Cannon threw the lawsuit out because of, threw the charges out because of that. I mean, here we go again. And so this is not going away. Jack Smith did file a brief with the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The district court's rationale would likewise raise questions about hundreds of appointments throughout the executive branch, including the Departments of Defense, State, Treasury, and Labor, according to prosecutors. Once again, this is a machine. This is a machine that uses lawfare against, in this particular case, political enemies. This is defined by statute. And they are saying, well, now, wait a minute. If this particular decision by Judge Eileen Cannon carries weight, it does have a serious effect that rolls through the executive branch of government. I have reported on this broadcast many, many times. The executive branch of government is way out of control. And it is because of exactly things like this. There's a perfect example of it. There's a video out there, I think you've probably seen it, where Kamala Harris is talking about with a stroke of my pen, I can have someone indicted and make them pay legal fees and all kinds of things to defend themselves, and then with a stroke of my pen, I can make it all go away except for the financial ruin that these people face. And that is using law to punish someone that really doesn't have anything to do with anything. It is lawfare. And this is, I'm not pointing this out to just point the finger at Kamala Harris. What I'm saying is that there are people out there that genuinely believe that they have powers to ruin people's lives, people who displease them, in full knowledge of the fact that what they're doing is spurious, but yet it has real effects. And this willingness to use government as a bludgeon is something that the executive branch is famous for. We've talked about it on this broadcast over and over and over again, specifically the EPA telling a couple in Wyoming they can't build a pond on their own land because it destroys a wetland, which is nothing more than a drainage ditch. And yeah, I got to be honest with you. If indeed Judge Eileen Cannon's decision stands, and it does throw all of these appointments into chaos, fine. I'm good with that. How about you? 817-379-2172. 817-379-2172. Yeah, the questions are coming fast on the chat room. Gary says, how many of those supposed Trump supporters were Antifa that were going after trying to create mayhem on that day? Well, we don't know. Why don't we know? How come we don't know those answers? All we know is that there are some 1,600 people in jail. They're trying to raise money for their lives after jail. That's happening at Bedminster. And a lot of people that participated in the 2020 riots for BLM, the George Floyd riots, most of them remain untouched to this day. Two-tiered justice system, huh? Could be. This is the Wells Report. Back in a moment.
Vallarta.
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. San Francisco is arguably one of the most beautiful cities in the world, except when you get within smell range. Now it is littered with homeless camps and decorated with human feces. And it's finally gotten so bad that the mayor of San Francisco is finally doing something about it. Street dwellers can now be cited, fined, or even jailed. The city is taking an aggressive approach to do something about the homeless. Here is a report from CNN. Check this out.
Okay.
We're in the Mission District. It's a little after 7 a.m. Is this the first time you've been involved in one of these sweeps?
No. And this is the first time they've been so quiet and nice.
You think you'll be in a shelter tonight?
Well, let's hope yes.
The Supreme Court ruled that cities can now cite, fine, or jail these people, even if they have nowhere else to go.
We have the ability to now enforce the law.
Mayor London Breed introduced what she calls a very aggressive strategy. They issued around 25 citations in the first 2 weeks.
You're criminalizing something that a lot of people can't help. They have
Yes.
no other choice.
And that would be the case if we weren't offering people a place to go inside.
They haven't offered you a shelter?
They said there's no opening for a shelter right now. There's no beds.
Plastic bags or anything for trash? The city says no one from this morning's sweep ended up in a shelter. Not one.
So this is the afternoon sweep. We're in Soma, south of Market. The issue is, this is the 34th time the city has swept this area this year alone.
More than 4,000 people live on San Francisco's streets. There are fewer than 4,000 shelter beds, and most nights they're near full, with a wait list of over 100.
Are these guys offering you a shelter bed? Is that what's going on?
He is.
He's
right
offering
now.
you a shelter bed?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to take it?
Yeah, I'm going to take it. But you know what? If it's something where it's cubicle like, I won't do it, man. I won't do it. 'Cause I stayed in prison 23 years. Do you really think I want to be closed up in a room with bars and on it? No, I don't think so. I'd rather sleep outside.
Since the Supreme Court's decision, cities and towns in states across the country are now proposing, passing, and enforcing anti-camping laws. Across California, state authorities have started sweeping encampments.
I'm here on behalf of 40 million Californians that are fed up. I'm here because I'm one of them.
But more than 50 academics told the Supreme Court there's no evidence that criminalizing homelessness works.
In fact, there's a lot of evidence that it's counterproductive.
Well, what we want to be able to do is use the penalties as a way to get people to commit to going indoors. That's part of our solution.
Chris, just visiting here at Jesse and Sick, got a place to live after a similar sweep. So it can work, this system.
Absolutely, if you just have to get the documents in order.
But
tragedies happen in these sweeps. A lot of people lose everything, things that they can't replace.
Many advocates for the homeless oppose this new strategy.
What does this do to actually solve the root problem here?
It doesn't. It makes the root problem worse. You know, when folks lose their paperwork, you know, get cited and they can't pay the fines, they don't make it to court, they get a warrant, they get kicked off of their public housing wait list.
So I came back here to Jesse and Six 3 days later. The house people are back, the police are back, the city is back. You've spent a lot of money from the city sweeping that same street. To me, that is the definition of madness.
But what I'm saying to you is the next option that we have for people who are refusing what we're offering is we will be citing.
Yes.
And you'll maybe in the next couple months take a look at our data and see whether or not this is working. And if it's working, we'll continue. If it's not, we need to pivot and to try something else.
What's your plan? Where are you going to go? Around the corner and then come back?
Yeah, later after we finish.
Yeah, so the problem with all this is allowing it to start in the first place. London Breed, who was the woman that you saw speaking there, she's the mayor of San Francisco, and she's finally doing something about the mess that was created by Gavin Newsom, also in that video. Homelessness is a problem. It's true. There should be some kind of a safety net. But the problem with homelessness is when you put a safety net out there, more homeless show up. They travel. They do whatever they can to get from one place to another for a free ride. City management can do very little about it, except in the case of where I was living in Las Vegas. Mayor Oscar Goodman put all those people on a bus and sent them to Los Angeles. So where do these people go? This is a hard life. I've seen it for myself. Fortunately, I haven't had to pay. I have not had to actually live that life, but I've observed it closely. And it is harsh, and it is terrible. And there are moments of great hope and crushing despair when plans don't work out for the homeless. And so, what do you do? I put some solutions out there. The Blue Jumpsuit Crew, where these people get jobs and they get to go out and pick up garbage in the streets. And they get paid with food and a little bit of money and a warm, clean place to live. Usually in a tent somewhere on city property that is manageable, as opposed to city streets that are most decidedly not. So far, nobody's picked up that idea. I wonder if they ever will. This is the Wells Report. That's hour number one. Stick around. Hour number two is coming up in just a couple of moments as we go through the news on this Monday, the 26th day of August, year of our Lord, 2024. This is the Wells Report. Coming up, what about that September 10th debate with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship.
Call 877-655-6870. That's 877-655-6870. 877-655-6870.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
News, analysis, commentary, and debate. This is the Wells Report. North to south, coast to coast, around the world. That's where we go for our news. And in this election day or election year, we're stuck with all of the meanderings of United States campaigning for a very important office, one that does indeed affect all the people of the United States all the time. And we have to decide just exactly where this country is going to go. Let's see. Clean up on aisle 7 election time. Yeah, that's Alicia's point of view when it comes to San Francisco suddenly trying to clean up its city. Why would you advocate for people to be homeless? Well, because you want more homeless. That's how it works. That's how it works. This from the chat room, by the way. See, I'm guessing very few of the illegals are living homeless. No, they're in hotels. They're in hotels, but we're seeing American citizens being gathered up, their tents being thrown into dumpsters, and them being cast loose. Again, where do they go? Don't know. Don't have any idea. This is what happens when people are left out of the system, and when a system of trying to pick winners and losers out of the losers runs out of control. And that's exactly where California is. It is sad. It is heartrending to see. But that's the way it is. Gary also asks, hey, JD, are you still drumming or are you too busy? I'm not gigging right now, but I'm still drumming on everything. It happens. It just pours out of me. You know that. But thanks, Gary, for asking. This is the Wells Report. Thanks for joining us. So here is something from USA Today. It has to do with whether or not there's going to be a debate on ABC on September 10th. And a lot of people, especially on social media, are saying, well, Trump's just too chicken to debate with Kamala Harris. Other people on X are saying, well, Kamala Harris is now advocating that she have notes for the debate. In other words, she'd show up with a binder, very much like Karine Jean-Pierre does when she faces the White House press corps. And I don't see that that's something you should do. That's something that can't be done. A debate is between two minds dealing with the issues of the day in a situation where both of the candidates can talk to each other directly. Kamala Harris needs to show up and debate. She needs to show up and do what is necessary to be able to win that debate. Donald Trump, for his part, is not running from the debate, although he does point out that ABC is, and he calls it plainly, ABC is fake news as far as he's concerned. There are also highly placed ABC News executives that are very close to Kamala Harris. Arguably, there is a conflict of interest with ABC having anything to do with the presidential debate. Although, in comments today, Donald Trump doesn't seem to be worried about any of this. Now, I don't know where the idea came that he was casting doubt on the debate, especially when you take a look at this video where Peter Doocy asked him a very important question.
Would you want the microphones muted in the debate whenever you're not speaking?
We agreed to the same rules. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on, but the agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time. In that case, it was muted. I didn't like it the last time, but it worked out fine. They're trying to change it. The truth is they're trying to get out of it because she doesn't want to debate. She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person. She doesn't want to debate.
President Trump, how are you specifically preparing for the debate versus Harris?
I'm not, really. I'm not spending a lot of time on it. I think my whole life I've been preparing for a debate.
Yeah. So Donald Trump has an advantage. Donald Trump has had everything possible thrown at him by a mainstream media and by a Democrat Party trying to, and oh, by the way, Republican Party people too. More about that coming up in a minute. He's had the book thrown at him. Everything that could possibly be out there is out there. And what does that do? That reduces Donald Trump to saying what he believes. He's put his issues out there. Kamala Harris has not. He knows exactly what he wants to do as the president of the United States. And so, is that going to fly? Once again, don't know. But that didn't look like a guy who was trying to run from a debate to me. Did that look like a guy who was trying to, I don't care. Am I preparing? No, I've been preparing for this my whole life. And Gary points it out perfectly. You don't need notes if you're clear on what you're going to say. That's right. Kamala Harris has a deep disadvantage. Sooner or later, all these issues are going to come to visit her. And she is not prepared for it because she has not allowed herself to be prepared for it. I'm not advocating for anything in this except that I really wish Kamala Harris would just tell the truth on all of these things. She has before, and they are deep problems in those statements from the past. We saw one of them earlier today. She was the last person in the room when it came to the Kabul exit, the American exit out of Afghanistan. She was the last person in the room. Are you happy with the decision? Yes. Yes, I am. Well, that's something she needs to stand for. I don't think that her strategy of changing her positions on things, indeed stealing from the Trump campaign, is going to work. If you truly believe in all the things that you've said, Ms. Harris, say them again. Go out there and just tell the truth. Let the American people decide. And if you don't take questions from reporters, you're not going to be able to make those statements in a clean and precise fashion because you don't have practice. You don't have practice. In the meantime, Donald Trump. I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm going to do exactly what I'm just telling Kamala Harris to do. Rear back and let fly with what you actually think. That's what debates are for. The weeding out process of people who are trying to be the president of the United States, indeed the nomination of their major party, is a forging process where the strongest candidate wins. She has had none of that. Nobody has voted for Kamala Harris to be the president of the United States. Nobody. In the meantime, there are people who are stepping into the Trump sphere, and they are saying things that are what I consider to be, okay, interesting from a political standpoint. I wonder if they'll have any kind of real impact on what's going on, but we'll see. Lieutenant Colonel Tulsi Gabbard was with Donald Trump speaking to the National Guard Association. This happened today. And here's what she had to say regarding this. And remember, she is a lieutenant colonel in the Hawaii National Guard. She is a deployed soldier. She is somebody that has gone out there and actually done it. Take a look at this speech earlier today.
It is a privilege to be here with all of you, my brothers and sisters in uniform, especially on this day of all days. I had the privilege of joining President Trump this morning at Arlington Cemetery, where he joined two Gold Star families and loved ones of Staff Sergeant Hoover and Sergeant G, both of whom were two of the 13 killed in the Abbey Gate attack 3 years ago today in Kabul. And I can tell you, as we were there, as he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, joining these Marines' loved ones, I felt the sorrow that he shared with them in their loss. I felt and saw his sincere appreciation for these servicemen and women who paid the ultimate price and their loved ones who continue to grieve to this day. This is personal for me, as I know it is for so many of you here. This is real. It's not just words. I first deployed to Iraq in 2005 with the Hawaii Army National Guard as a member of Charlie Med. As those of you who were deployed during that time know, it was the height of the war, and sadly, we took many casualties. And every day we were confronted with that high human cost of war and that sadness as we boarded the plane when we left, that we were leaving some of our brothers and sisters behind, only to lose others when we got home to suicide. So I mean what I say when I share with you that I know that President Trump understands the grave responsibility that a president and commander-in-chief bears for every single one of our lives. Whether you're a soldier, you're an airman, a Marine, sailor, or a coastie, he keeps us in his heart in the decisions that he makes. We saw this through his first term in the presidency, when he not only didn't start any new wars, he took action to de-escalate and prevent wars. He exercised the courage that we expect from our commander-in-chief in exhausting all measures of diplomacy, having the courage to meet with adversaries, dictators, allies, and partners alike in the pursuit of peace, seeing war as a last resort. The truth is, as we head towards our decision as a country in November, the same cannot be said about Kamala Harris. In fact, the opposite is true, and we're living through this reality today as this administration has us facing multiple wars on multiple fronts and regions around the world, and closer to the brink of nuclear war than we ever have been before. This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House, where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief.
That is the National Guard Association applauding that statement by Tulsi Gabbard. And it's fascinating to see how many Democrats are supporting Donald Trump. But it's equally interesting to see how many Republicans are not supporting Donald Trump. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a couple of moments. And so, what do we have? We have a former president who is trying to be president again. We have a vice president who is trying for a promotion to president, who has not faced the electorate yet. We don't know what her issues are. We don't know what she's planning to do. She won't be specific on anything. Will the American people buy a presidency in a poke? In other words, will we just vote for Kamala Harris because, well, she's a woman and she's hopeful and she's joyous? Or does there have to be something more? I believe the American people want the latter, not the former. And I don't know why Kamala Harris isn't doing whatever she could possibly do to prepare herself for what's going to happen in a very short run of days. Is this the Kamala Harris faceplant that many people have been looking for? I can't see that it would be anything else. This is the Wells Report.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. When Donald Trump came down that gold escalator at Trump Tower, he made a lot of political enemies. Certainly from the left. The Democrat Party immediately said, this guy is a joke, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden he was the president of the United States. The Republicans, well, didn't say much. There were a couple of snarky comments from a couple of people that were quickly shushed up, because they figured it wasn't going to be serious until he became the president of the United States. And then all of a sudden, both the left and the right, and I'm talking about the right-left, so the left and the right-left suddenly realized that Donald Trump was serious about draining the swamp. Now, I said that there were a lot of Republicans that wanted to see Donald Trump fail. Well, we just found out who they were. This from USA Today. More than 200 Republicans who previously worked for either former President George W. Bush, the late Senator John McCain, or Senator Mitt Romney have endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president in an open letter obtained by USA Today. The letter from the alums of 3 Republican presidential nominees prior to former President Donald Trump comes on the heels of a Democrat National Convention last week in Chicago that showcased Republican detractors of the GOP nominee. At least 5 former aides to President George H.W. Bush also signed the letter, which had 238 signatures in all. A similar group of about 150 anti-Trumper former staffers of Bush, McCain, and Romney pledged support for President Joe Biden in the 2020 election. We reunite today, joined by new George H.W. Bush alumni to reinforce our 2020 statements and, for the first time, jointly declare that we're voting for Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz this November, the letter reads. Of course, we have plenty of honest ideological disagreements with the Vice President and Governor Walz. That's to be expected. The alternative, however, is simply untenable. In other words, it drains the swamp. You know, in a swamp, you have alligators and crocodiles. They are supposedly different, but they look about the same, and they eat about the same, and they swim about the same, and they're all rolling around in these dank, smelly swamps. But they're basically the same thing. That's what you have with these 238 so-called Republicans. When they had power, they did nothing. They didn't do anything. They didn't move forward a conservative agenda. They didn't do any of the things they said they were going to do. Perfect example is the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. They said tens of times they were going to immediately abolish it as soon as they had the power, and the people of the United States gave them the power, and John McCain famously took that away with an overdramatic, silly vote in the Welle of the United States Senate. These are the people that have destroyed the Republican Party. The proof of that destruction is Donald Trump. Donald Trump has harnessed conservative Americans who do not believe that the Republican Party is, as it's touted itself to be, the best vessel of American political conservative thought. They are not. I have said that the Republican Party, best displayed by these 238 people, are just the facilitators of Democrat policy. And these are professionals. These are people who have worked in these administrations that are willing to follow someone who hasn't got a single policy statement out there, an official one that people can actually read. And they're willing to elect what is nothing more than the focus of a cult of personality. It is a cult of personality. It is a cult of personality. There's nothing else to recommend Vice President Harris, is there?
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
News, analysis, commentary, and debate. This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Thanks very much for being with us today. I sincerely appreciate your participation in this broadcast. By the way, if you find value in it, please do subscribe on the platform that you're currently watching. Ask your friends to subscribe. In other words, share this broadcast. Let it go far and wide from this time and place. A place where there's reasonable discussion of all sides, because that's what this is for. The objective of this broadcast is truth. I don't have to be the provider of it. That's just my vision of truth. What's yours? 817-379-2172. 817-379-2172. Like the notification button. Give us those thumbs ups. And if you'd like to support the show financially, go to patreon.com/The Wells Report. You can give us a couple of bucks. It really helps us. We sincerely appreciate everybody who gives us that gift every month. It's very nice. Thank you. I also want to say thanks to all of the platforms that carry this broadcast. Indeed, there would be no way for me to afford the level of distribution that I find on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitter, same thing, Rumble, Patreon, Spreaker, Twitch, and they carry this broadcast, and they don't make me pay a dime for it. And I appreciate that very much, especially X. X is a much better system than it was before. This broadcast would be shadow banned from time to time, but I kept putting it on. And when Elon Musk paid $44 billion for that platform, that wasn't worth that much. What he was doing was giving us all an opportunity to share our thoughts. There are people that say that X is a left-wing cesspool. There are people who say that X is a right-wing cesspool, which means only one thing. Elon Musk has done brilliant work for we, the people of the United States, and around the world. In fact, he has shut down the platform in places that don't allow free speech. He has also mused a little bit about getting into politics. Famously, he sat down with Donald Trump and had a wonderful conversation. I listened to the whole thing. Had a wonderful conversation. Was it a proper interview? No. Did Donald Trump show reasonably good discipline in sticking to his talking points? Yes. And all of that. Hold on just a minute here. I've got something here from the Wall Street Journal that I want to share with you. Let's see if I can find it. Cross your fingies. Oh yeah, here we go. All right. So on the pages of the Wall Street Journal, they have this wonderful montage. 5 years ago, Elon Musk mostly tweeted about his companies, plus memes and the occasional dad joke. Exciting to see new electric vehicles coming to market. We created Tesla to accelerate a sustainable future, and it's happening. The real reason for Looper was to travel back in time and stop a terrible calamity. And on and on. But what he's doing, let's see, hold on just a moment here. Let me give you some of this other stuff. This is hard to read. Today, he posts almost daily about political issues on X. The platform he acquired in 2022 has thrown his support behind former President Donald Trump's campaign, another Democrat who has done that. Why? In total, Musk ramped up his posting on the platform. His conversations mention common political keywords. It's increased more than 200-fold. Meanwhile, the share of his conversations mentioning business terms decreased. And this is a story of how that happened. Again, from the Wall Street Journal. When Elon Musk endorsed former President Donald Trump's campaign in July, X was his megaphone to reach almost 200 million followers. The endorsement not only made Musk one of Trump's most influential supporters, but also represents a remarkable shift in his eagerness to weigh in on political debates compared with just a few years ago. Musk posted about 13,000 times this year through the end of July, almost as much as in all of 2023. That's 61 posts a day, compared with 9 in 2019. If you were to read all of his exchanges on X for the past 5.5 years, including the posts he's replied to, that would add up to about 1.5 million words. By the way, I have made some posts that Elon Musk has actually replied to. It's amazing. That's another thing about X. You can reach anybody. I mean, you literally run across America's intelligentsia, America's cultural, artsy crowd, leftists, rightists, communists, socialists, everybody's there. Again, free speech at its very best. So it adds up to about 1.5 million words. That's roughly twice as long as the King James Bible. In words, Musk's posts alone added up to more than 300,000, not including emojis. Musk and his representatives did not respond to questions from the Wall Street Journal about his posting patterns on X. To understand the political evolution of one of the world's richest men, the journal captured nearly 42,000 of Musk's exchanges on X between 2019 and the end of July. Musk's exchanges included roughly 76,000 posts, his tweets as well as his retweets, tweets to which he replied, and any quoted tweets. The journal mapped them using the same technology that powers artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT. You ought to read this, by the way. You really should. Let's see. Let me go back to this, and this is very difficult to put on the air. But here we go. All right. Each dot, I'm going to show this to you so you can see it. It's really kind of cool. Let me bring this up just a little bit. All right, take a look at this. This is every one of these tweets represents, every one of these dots represents a tweet. Exchanges with similar content are clustered together, and you can see where all of this is. Each dot represents one of nearly 42,000 exchanges. Clusters can be identified with keywords. Here are the conversations that mention Tesla, SpaceX, Biden, or Trump. You can see that in purple right here. When we just highlight tweets from 2019, we can see that many of his tweets are clusters about Tesla and SpaceX. Several of the rests are memes and jokes. By 2024, Musk's tweets clustered on the opposite side of the visualization, reflecting his focus on politics. And you can see that there are a lot of them. All told, the journal classified more than 500 variations of words and phrases related to political and social issues, and nearly 300 as terms related to Musk's companies and industries. In 2024, Musk had roughly 230 times as many exchanges a month containing political terms compared with 2019. Conversations containing business terms more than doubled, but fell as a share of the overall tweets. The journal manually classified each of Musk's tweets. From July of 2019, roughly two-thirds were about cars or space, both industries central to his business empire. The handful that pertained to government issues on the media, generally related to his business interests. In July of this year, roughly a fifth of Musk's nearly 2,200 posts pertain to his rocket and electric vehicle companies or those industries, according to the journal's manual review. Nearly 60% of Musk's posts were about politics, the media, current events, or cultural issues. 5 years ago, he said he wasn't partisan. I'm openly moderate. There, I said it. The outbreak of COVID-19 marked a turning point. A tweet calling the coronavirus panic dumb was his first post to get more than 1 million likes in the journal's analysis. In subsequent tweets, Musk criticized government-mandated lockdowns and sparred with local authorities over reopening Tesla's factory in Fremont, California. He complained about the power of unelected officials over pandemic-related mandates, with 9 of his conversations on the platform containing the term in May of 2020. Musk courted controversy on Twitter in prior years, such as when his tweets about taking Tesla private led the Security and Exchange Commissions to sue him. But he began taking more of a political tone. In May of 2020, he tweeted a reference to the movie The Matrix, which was used by some on the right as a rallying cry. In the movie, the red pill allows the main character to see reality. Elon Musk tweeted, "Take the red pill." Throughout 2020, Musk's Twitter exchanges directly named President Biden, who was elected in November of that year. In 2021, Musk repeatedly clashed with the president and other Democrats of whom he accused of unfairly treating him and his companies. Musk bristled when the Biden administration invited only automakers with unionized workforces to a White House event on electric vehicles. That excluded Tesla. This happened in August of 2021. He continued to complain about the administration's auto industry policies. Biden is a UAW puppet. He feuded with Democrat Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. Let's change the rigged tax code so the person of the year will actually pay taxes and stop freeloading off of everybody else, said Elizabeth Warren. Musk said, and if you opened your eyes for 2 seconds, you'd realize I will pay more taxes than any American in history this year. By 2022, Musk was spending more time wading into sensitive political and social issues. More than 250 of Musk's Twitter exchanges in 2022 mentioned free speech, disinformation, the media. That year, Musk offered to buy Twitter. He accused the platform of having, quote, a strong left-wing bias, unquote, and said that he would soften moderation in the name of free speech if he bought the platform. He completed the acquisition in October of 2022 in a deal valued at $44 billion. The move won many admirers among conservatives and critics of big social media platforms, which was totally justified, by the way. The criticism I'm talking about. Several of his most liked posts of all time pertain to free speech and his acquisition of Twitter, with some receiving millions of likes. His top most liked in the journal's analysis, a joke about buying Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in. Elon Musk, iconoclast. The name of the platform appeared in 900 of his exchanges in 2022. That's nearly twice as many as Tesla mentioned in the same period. In November of that year, a record 36% of his conversations mentioned Twitter. In May 2022, Musk made a tweet and said his split with the Democrats is plain. Elon said this, in the past, I voted Democrat because they were mostly the kindness party, but they've become the party of division and hate, so I no longer can support them and will vote Republican. Now watch their dirty tricks campaign against me unfold. Yeah, that happened too. Musk said his shift was fueled in part by how Democrats treated him and his companies. I support free speech, but not any one candidate. In fact, I gave money to and voted for Hillary and then voted for Biden. However, given unprovoked attacks by leading Democrats against me and a very cold shoulder to Tesla and SpaceX, I intend to vote Republican in November. He talked about Ukraine. He began expressing more views about international affairs, such as Russia's invasion of Ukraine, starting in February of 2022. He posted his support for Ukraine, tweeting, hold strong. SpaceX Starlink, which uses a fleet of satellites to provide internet service, has been a key tool Ukraine has used in its fight with Russia. Later, he voiced concerns about oversight of the U.S. government spending on Ukraine and the risk of nuclear war. Musk drew ire from Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky over a tweet which he proposed that Ukrainians cede the Crimea region to Russia. Musk responded that he still supports Ukraine. Ukraine-Russia peace. Redo elections of annexed regions under UN supervision. Russia leaves if that is the will of the people. Crimea, formerly a part of Russia, has been since 1783 until Khrushchev's mistake. Water supply to Crimea assured. Ukraine remains neutral. Out of that, he got yes votes of 40.9%, no votes of 59.1%. In 2023, Musk replied to, quote, tweeted or retweeted prominent foreign leaders at least 18 times, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. On those exchanges, 7 were with Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, whose policies have made him an icon for those on the right. Meeting with President Putin in Beijing, everyone in Europe is asking the same thing. This is from Viktor Orban. Everybody's asking the same thing. Can there be a ceasefire in Ukraine? It's crucial for Europe, including Hungary, that the flood of refugees, sanctions, and fighting should end. Elon Musk tweeted back, good question. What we're seeing is Elon Musk moving to a more political state. And the other day, within a week, the other day he tweeted, am I making a mistake by getting into politics? And I tweeted back, yes, sir, you are. But it may be the most important mistake you'll ever make. I've seen a metamorphosis of real Democrats realizing that their party is not the Democrat Party. It has been infused with communists, socialists, and just plain power-mad totalitarians. I just saw a tweet today. I saw an X post today. John Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Teddy Kennedy, and somebody put underneath it, they all support Kamala Harris. And what did I do? I replied, how do you know? How do you know? This is the Wells Report.
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Thanks for joining me today. I sincerely appreciate your participation in this broadcast. Today is National Dog Day. I am delighted by my dog. He is the sweetest, most wonderful dog I've ever had, the smartest dog I've ever had, and I've had really smart dogs. But this one eclipses them all. Eons ago, when people hadn't realized that they could modify canines to their particular specifications, wolves, apex predators in many locations, chose human beings to hang out with. No one really knows why. But those domesticated animals gave birth to puppies, and those puppies throughout the eons were changed for certain reasons, and we got all the major dog breeds. And dogs remind us of the goodness inside us there's a wonderful statement that said, gosh, you know what? If only I could be the human being my dog thinks I am. Odin is a Rottweiler. And those dogs are badly misunderstood. They are feared. And that's only because people don't know them. There are some people that take Rottweilers and think they want to turn them into beasts that only they can control. Well, that's not what we do. We rescue Rottweilers. And we love them, and we kiss them, and we take good care of them, and they take great care of us. And what they do is truly amazing to watch. I've got a little piece of video to show you just some of the things that this breed does that is just unbelievable to watch. Take a look at just exactly what kind of dog people who own Rottweilers get to deal with. Check this out.
Why are you so frustrated?
It's so wonderful. Check out this puppy. Totally irresistible. Ah. Ah. Give us a kiss. There you go. Oh, sweet. What is that dog thinking? And then there's this. Yeah. Yeah. They do the silliest things. One of the most entertaining things that I deal with every morning is Rottweiler versus squirrel. We have a backyard with a fence around it. And the squirrels play on top of the fence and literally bait Odin. And Odin carefully stalks these squirrels, and he moves very, very slowly, head down, staring. And the squirrels will just look at him. One of them even hung himself down over the edge of the fence trying to bait Odin. And Odin uniformly always breaks first and starts running after the squirrel, and the squirrel runs up and down the fence, and Odin is chasing this squirrel. And then the squirrel runs into the tree and makes that funny squirrel sound where he's just laughing. It's hysterical. It's just hysterical. And while I think that Rottweilers are the best breed of dog I've ever had any contact with in my life, I'm not advocating for everybody to go out and get Rottweilers, but go out and get a dog. It's National Dog Day, and it's a good way to celebrate. We love our dogs, says USA Today. More than 65 million U.S. households own one, making dogs our most popular pets. National Dog Day every year at August 26th celebrates the bond between humans and their dogs and encourages dog ownership of all breeds. It was established in 2004 by pet and family lifestyle advocates. And the date marks the anniversary of the day that Colleen Page and her family adopted her first dog from an animal shelter when she was 10 years old. National Dog Day is not just about celebrating our dogs. We focused on promoting canine adoption and welfare to ensure that all dogs live a happy, safe, and abuse-free life, which I assure you that dogs definitely deserve. I'm a dog guy. It's National Dog Day. Go give a dog a big kiss right on the lips. It'll change you. It will. This has been the Wells Report. Thanks very much for being a part of it today. And I realize that I know it's been hopping around and so on and so on. But tomorrow I'll see you at 11 a.m. right here for the Wells Report. God bless you and all yours. Be safe. Make good decisions. And whatever you do, make sure that you go out and get a dog. No, make sure that you're safe. And make sure that you take care of yourself. And I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.